Hey, good afternoon, Jeff Sweenor, and we are at the Habitat for Humanity house in Exeter, Rhode Island. So we've got our crew here donating their time for the day. We've got 20 of us, and our goal is to get all the windows in this house installed in one day, and we're halfway there. So we're going to take you inside. We're going to give you a quick tour. We're going to talk with Colin Penny from South County from Habitat, and we are going to take your questions. We've got some giveaways. We've got a tape measure, a couple hats for you. So lob in your questions, and we'll try to get them answered. So come on inside. Where's my window crew? So we've got a window operation going on here where the guys are coming. They're supposed to be in. This window we've got done. It's taped. We've got it waterproofed. These are double hung vinyl windows. And we've got our team here. So we've got Zach and Kevin. You guys remember Kevin? Turn around. Kevin was our apprentice last year, and he is on board with us full time. Okay. So right now we're caulking the window flange that's going to go in. We've got the Tyvek house wrap peeled back there so that we get the window flange underneath that. So you notice on the sill we've got the DuPont Flex Rep. That's the sill pan, flexible sill pan, one piece, so that keeps a waterproof pan at the bottom of that window. We don't caulk the bottom so that if water were ever to get in that system, it has a path to escape. So Dino, you'll notice that there's a reference line right here. So that reference line is a level line that goes all the way around the perimeter of the house, and we measure all the windows off of that line so that we're at the same level. All right, so we're going to go inside and we'll take a tour.
Hey, so this side needs to come up an 8.
And this is Colin Penny he's the director of Habitat for Humanity. It's South County Chapter. Colin?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming out today.
All right, nice to have us here. So tell us about this project.
We're building a duplex here in Exeter, Rhode Island. This is the A unit that we're working on right at the moment. We started construction about 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And we've been fundraising and planning for this project for about a year and a half now.
Nice. So we're in the living room?
Living room, yep. So this is kind of the living room, dining room area right here. The kitchen's going to go right back where the tub surround is at the moment. It's going to be an L-shaped kitchen with an island right here. And if we kind of head back this way, the house itself will be a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, about 1,250 square feet with a full basement.
Okay. All right, great. So we're going to sit and we'll take some questions. Is that okay? All right. So, Colin, tell me some of the challenges that you have with being a Habitat for Humanity operation and getting these houses built.
Sure. Yeah. Affordable housing is definitely a challenging industry, and every community has its own need for affordable housing and its own challenges.
Yeah.
Right here in southern Rhode Island, access to land is really the biggest challenge we go.
Sure.
A lot of the communities we're building in, a vacant quarter-acre land could go for well over $200,000, which right there is a huge financial obstacle.
Sure.
So we're really reliant on developers who are able to donate some land, or folks who are able to pass land on from generation to generation to allow us to build on and build our affordable housing units.
Right, right. So tell us about how these houses get built. Do we, the volunteer-based, how does that all work?
Yeah, so it's it's about a 2-year process from start to finish, from getting the land, the donations, and all the way up to handing the keys over to a family.
Yeah.
But we have about 400 volunteers who will swing a hammer or wield a paintbrush on this duplex right here.
Yep.
We have our group of about 40 to 50 regular volunteers, men and women, who largely in the retirement
Okay.
volunteer their time doing about, some of them 400 or 500 hours a year.
Right.
In addition, we have one-off volunteers who are able to come out and just give construction a try. We have
Sure.
great volunteers will help individuals. Anybody 16 or older can come out and learn some skills and
Yep.
give back to the community.
Nice.
In addition, we have great partnerships with a lot of corporate groups who come out and help us fund our houses. Town Dock and Alex and Ani being some great partners here
Nice.
in Rhode Island.
Yep.
MetLife and Bank of America on a nationwide
Yep.
basis, who really give back to
Yep.
helping us do that. And in addition to the financial contributions, they come out and give Swinging a Hammer a try. So
Right.
it's a really great time.
Right. Well, now you got a new partner.
That's right. we're happy to have Sweenor out here and all the skilled labor you guys are bringing out. Again,
Yeah.
I'd say 90% of our labor comes from folks who have never done more than swing a hammer to
Sure.
hang a picture. So getting some folks out here to get the windows and doors installed and help us get the heat on in here as we're
well,
in January. So.
we're glad to help. We're glad to help. So I got questions lobbing in. I got to
Sure.
get to a couple of questions here. So I got David from Tennessee. I'm about to trim out the interior windows that he's installed at his house. The windows are clear pine, but the trim I plan on using is red oak. How do you go about treating the pine in order to get a good match for the red oak? Boy, that's a good one, Colin. If you want to just color match, you're just going to have to pick a stain that closely matches. Obviously, the grain in oak is different than the grain in pine. So I think you're just going to have to do some experimentation there to figure out the color combination there. So good question. Colin, for you from YouTube, does Habitat use local contractors on their house?
Absolutely. So we do sub out the electrical, the plumbing,
Sure.
The masonry work, and we use exclusively Rhode Island contractors here at South County Habitat
Okay.
whenever possible. So we really try to give back to the community that's given so much
Right.
to us.
All right. I got a couple of shout outs here on YouTube. We've got Arizona, Belgium, the UK, Germany, San Diego, Indiana, and Maine. Mainers. So what are we using for caulking? We are using a silicone-based caulk for the exterior windows, and that seals that flange to the house rep. Any of the future homeowners there to help? Well, that's a great question because you told me that, first of all, these houses aren't giveaways.
Right.
You've got to earn it.
Yep.
And then secondly, part of the requirement is for the homeowners to actually pitch in.
Right, so we qualify all of our homeowners and all Habitat affiliates across the country qualify the same way as a need for better housing. So for some reason, their housing situation isn't working for them, either overcrowding, slumlords, or just kind of outgrowing their current housing. The ability to pay, it is not a free house. We sell it at no profit to Habitat, usually at 0% or very close to 0% interest.
Right.
And the third part is that willingness to partner. So that's the coming out, doing 400 hours of volunteer work, swinging a hammer, wielding a paintbrush,
400.
budgeting classes.
400
Yep,
hours.
So 400 hours
Wow.
is what we require for our two adult families. It has been something that's been a part of the Habitat tradition since the first Habitat
Sure.
house was built in 1976 down
Yeah.
in Americus, Georgia. So it's really been at the core of everything we do.
Right. So those 400 hours don't necessarily have to be working on this house. You have other outlets for them
Sure.
to work.
Yeah, so we try to get the vast majority of their hours either on their house or helping our other homeowners. We're currently working on 5 projects here in South County. So we have the 2 new units here as well as 3 rehab projects that we're doing. So they can go and help on the other ones. They're not here today just because they're working today, so they
Sure.
weren't able to make it out. But
Yeah.
we do make sure they come out and it helps create ownership of the project.
Right, right.
And the volunteers love meeting the families.
Sure.
It just makes it more rewarding.
So who will be living in this house? So there's 2 families that have already committed for this.
Yeah, so we have 2 families, in this case, both single mothers.
Nice.
So Jessica and her daughter, who's about 5 years old, will be moving into this unit that we're sitting
that's
here
great.
too. And Rebecca and her son, who's about 13 years old, will be moving into the unit next door.
Right, right. Wow, we got all kinds of questions here. Trying to keep up with them all. What is the best type of window? Well, that's a long answer, but there's a lot of windows that we use. We use Marvin windows, we use Anderson windows, we use a lot of windows. So there's good and bad to all of them, and I don't necessarily have a favorite. How many square feet?
So it's about 1,250 square feet of usable space.
Okay.
But that's not
600, 600?
just
Or
about,
pretty
yep.
much, yep.
And then there'll be a full basement, which we don't include in that. It will be able to finish. We do have a full egress in both of them in case they do want to finish them after the
Basement,
fact, but
yep.
there will be a concrete floor and rock concrete down there.
So if somebody wants to get involved, what do they need to do?
Yeah, so we have 1,400 affiliates across the country. So
There you
the
go.
easiest thing to do is, as your local affiliate,
Yeah.
you can go to the mainhabitat.org website and just put in your location, and it'll give you the contact information.
Sure.
And we work in 70 countries around the world. So if you
70
wanna-
countries, wow.
If you want to get
So,
involved abroad,
Yeah.
absolutely just make some calls, and we try to make it as easy as possible.
yeah. So how many houses do you build in a year? I assume that's a question for you.
Yeah, so it really varies. Again, accessibility of land and funding
Yeah.
is always a trick.
Of course.
But we, right now, we're doing pretty consistently serving about 3 families a year through new home construction. We serve about 3 to 5 families a year through critical home repair.
Sure.
Whether that's a ramp or a new roof or something like that. But we're trying to grow our organization right now. The need is huge here in Southern Rhode Island.
Right.
So we're really looking to grow.
So how long does it take to build a Habitat house? So when did you start this project?
So the whole project from start to finish is about 2 years, but
Okay.
a lot of that is the planning and zoning and all that sort of fun stuff that
Sure,
all
sure.
developers have to deal with.
Yeah.
We're usually on, if we were doing a single unit, it's about a 16-week build. This one will be about 22, 24
Okay.
weeks for the 2 units.
Okay. Hello from Michigan, New Jersey on YouTube. Hi, guys. What is the foundation? So I assume we're just on a poured concrete wall? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we got a 12-inch concrete wall on a 2-foot wide spread footing, I'm going to gather.
Sounds about right.
Another thing to shout out to all of you Apprentice fans, we are in the midst of a casting call for 2 new apprentices, which will start in a few months. So that casting call will be out on the This Old House website any day now, so keep your eye on that. And we're going to be looking for 2 new apprentices for this coming year. Projects that we're going to start, one will be in Westerly in Rhode Island, and the other one will be probably somewhere in the Boston area. So if you guys have an interest in that, and keep an eye out for that casting call. So we have a question about the Restore for Habitat.
Sure. So our biggest single fundraiser is our Restore. Again, there's about 800 Restores across the country, and we accept donations of new and used items, everything from construction materials, appliances, and home goods, and we sell those to the general public at a huge discount.
Right.
And so if you're redoing your house and have extra cabinets, or if you're replacing your furniture or appliances, give your local Restore a call. Most Restores will pick them right up from your door.
Sure.
And we'll be able to sell those. And again, if you're looking for your first apartment, looking something
Yeah.
nice, and you can't quite go out and buy something at full price, it's a great opportunity. It has a huge environmental impact.
Sure.
We try to divert as much from the landfills as we possibly
Oh,
can.
understood. So for you builders out there, you know, I know we probably knock down 3 or 4 houses a year. So we can call you in, and
Yep.
you'll bring a team in to source whatever's there, cabinets, appliances. We've got a really nice boiler that we're going to try to repurpose. So
Absolutely.
your crew will come in and take that stuff, and they'll either reuse it or bring it into their store and try to collect some money for it, and that all goes to
Yep,
Habitat
goes
for
right to
Humanity.
building these houses.
So we've got a couple giveaways for some good questions. We've got these Carhartt beanie caps with our logo on it. So we've got 3 of those to give away for some good questions. And I've also got 25-foot Habitat for Humanity tape measures. So lob in your good questions, and we'll get these right out in the mail to you. So I've got a question, energy efficiency standards. So do we have some codes
Yeah.
that we want to require?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work really, really hard. In addition to making these houses mortgage, we do everything we can to make them affordable for the long term. So we do meet the highest level of Energy Star standards.
Okay.
We work with a couple nonprofits and energy audits on our houses, ERVs.
Sure. Wow, good. Great.
As many energy efficient appliances, whether they're mini split heat pumps or
Yep.
wall mounted combi units, those sort of things. So anything we can do, as well as using as many durable materials to keep the maintenance of the house down
Sure,
over the long
sure.
haul.
I've got a question here about, do you ever use solar on Habitat houses?
We would love to.
Yeah.
So there are a
There
lot
you
of
go,
Habitat
solar
affiliates that
fans.
do, and we would absolutely love to do rooftop solar in the future.
Yeah. Oh, I got a comment from David from Tennessee. Thank you for becoming a part of this Whole House family and sharing your time, knowledge, and expertise with us. Well, that's great. Thank you, David. We appreciate that. Let's see. What else do we have here? How did you soundproof between the two houses?
That is a great question, and I'm not sure.
I can answer that. So.
We do, I believe there's an air gap in between
Yeah,
that's sealed to make so that there's very little ability to transfer, as well as putting the OSB between. But I think that air gap is the main source of sound prevention between the two units.
Okay, so there's an airspace. There's probably a double 5/8 wall in between, a fire separation.
Yeah, and then the firewall, the 5/8. Yeah.
So I'm going to apologize. I understand we're having some audio-visual trouble with some of the sound quality here. We are running off of generators. It's wreaking havoc with some of our equipment. So hope you bear with us and apologize for us on that. So how do you follow building codes in your area? I mean, that's relatively simple. You probably are under the same scrutiny that everybody else is.
Yeah, we're a licensed contractor, pull all the same permits, get all the same inspections from start to finish.
Yeah, so you have to get, you go at the rough stage and you get your electric and you get your, yeah. So we have kinds of questions coming in here. Hello from Inverness, Florida. Inverness. And I think the answer depends on the situation. It depends on the water usage, the hot water. You got a lot of teenagers who like to take hot showers. You may consider a tank. If you're a single family empty nester, I think that that the on-demand will work just fine. So tips when your studs aren't 16 inches on center in your house. So I'm assuming that maybe you're trying to hang pictures or something and you've got 2x4s that aren't on center. So my advice would be to get a stud finder, a magnetic stud finder so that you can lay out on the drywall where those 2x4s are. And Colin, I got another request, so we're going to repeat that again about how to become a volunteer for Habitat.
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest thing to do is just go to habitat.org, and there will be a link to find your local affiliate. So you just put in your county or your town or zip code, and they will get you the contact information. Most affiliates have a volunteer coordinator who can help get you all set up and signed up for a build day. Most affiliates also have volunteers in their restore, committees, board members. So if swinging a hammer isn't your thing, we can find a job for absolutely anyone.
Right on. So John McLean is the winner for our hat. Oh, how about that? So John, make sure you send in your address and we'll get a hat out to you. David from Tennessee, you won another hat, and we have one more to give away, and we also have some tape measures. So keep the questions coming. We're on for another 10 minutes or so. I think we might circle back and talk about our window installation a little bit more here. We'll let a few more questions filter in, and we can get to those as we go. Amy Gilbert from Minnesota is typing in. She wins a tape measure. So thanks, Amy, for watching. How do you get the land for Habitat? That's a good one.
So
right?
any way we can. Yeah, so we did purchase this lot right here for a much reduced rate.
Yeah.
And we actually just had a developer in South Kingstown, which is about 10 miles from here, donate a buildable lot in a subdivision he's doing. So he was able to donate that to Habitat.
Nice, nice.
And we have a gentleman just about a quarter mile down the road who's doing a 5-house development who will be donating a lot to us in July. So
do those lots, does that help the developer qualify for the minimum housing or the low housing?
Yeah. So in Rhode Island, depending on the town you're in, if you do a subdivision of about 5 houses or more, you do have to have one affordable housing unit.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's not economical for the developer to build the affordable unit themselves. So they're able to donate it to Habitat. In most cases, get a tax break on it and make the towns happy. And it's really good for everyone in the community.
Right. So when did Habitat start?
So we started here in South Kingstown in 1990.
Okay.
We built about 64 homes so far.
Wow.
Nationally, 1976, we started in Americus,
Right.
Georgia.
I got another question. Do celebrities volunteer their time?
Absolutely. Yep.
Jimmy Carter?
Jimmy Carter is the one that everyone thinks of. He's, 95 now and
Yeah.
still climbing around Habitat roofs.
Right.
And Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood also joined President Carter out on a lot of the big builds. David Letterman was just out at a build in Indiana not too long ago.
Right, right.
So Taylor Swift lives down the street, so maybe
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
get her out
yeah,
building a Habitat
absolutely.
house sometime soon.
So is it just the U.S. or around the world? I think you answered that.
Around the
70
world.
countries?
70 countries around the world.
So how about that? So when you build the houses, your families live in there permanently, or do they cycle through? I think they live.
So it's a home ownership opportunity. So
Okay.
they do purchase the house, and it is theirs to live
All right.
in and grow in. And if they do decide that they get their dream job in Hawaii, where it's a little warmer than Rhode Island, and want to move on, they do have the opportunity to sell it. They just have to sell it to another affordable homeowner.
Okay, all right. I got a question on the strapping and the ceiling. So this is sort of a regional thing a little bit. That strapping exists to laterally brace the floor joists for the second floor. It also gives a chaseway so that you can attach wiring directly to those floor joists in between the fairing strips. And then when the drywall is installed, the drywall is installed to those fairing strips. It also helps to hold insulation if you're going to soundproof in between floors. So one last question before we wrap it up. What type of siding we'll be using here? And I know we have some outside, and that's a great question. We're going to answer that one
Highly
outside.
compressed OSB, but I can't remember the
Right.
exact term for it.
Yeah, something
we've
coat.
used
Diamond
vinyl.
Coat, I think, is maybe the brand. But we'll take a look at that. So we are going to sign off from Exeter, Rhode Island. We want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Colin for giving us the tour. And I hope we got all these windows installed
Yeah,
for you.
absolutely. And thank you for you and your team
Sure.
coming out and helping us get dried in.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you.